Radio Fox.
History books are made to be broken. Every generation seeking to surpass the previous.
What we call it,
To leave their own mark. With every moment etched in time.
Well, as a matter of fact, I think we have a special secret guest here at Radio Fox. Jeremy McGrath's room, please.
Phenomenal, thank you.
Honor yesterday. Invent tomorrow.
Hello, Jeremy?
That might be me.
Jeremy, how's it going?
Reintroducing Radio Fox. A broadcast by vurbmoto.
All right, welcome back to Radio Fox. This is night 3. It is a Thursday night. Kevin, why don't you get the rotary dial landline there and dial up 1993.
Yeah, we've been doing this,
the right way.
going back in time, man. I hope they answer. They don't have call waiting back in 1993, none of that stuff. So
Just gonna hope they're home. I don't even know if they have an answering machine.
1993. There we go.
Radio Fox has been around for a long time. We just took a little break of about 28 years. 93, 94, they did this show from the announcer's tower
30
here
years.
for the PA system. Then it took a break for about 28 years, and we're back this year, thanks to the folks at Fox and vurbmoto. But tonight they've actually upgraded the program. We're actually playing out here live on the big screens and the PA system at the ranch, like Radio Fox was in the big screens, but on the PA back then.
Yeah, so back in the day, they would just randomly call guys and hope and pray they answered and just check in with pro riders.
That's all they could do.
It had never been done before. And now there are 900 million podcasts. We've seen it all. So we're just kind of going back in time and kind of going back to the roots of Fox Radio and what it was like to be at Loretta Lynn's with no cell service, which we still don't have. We didn't have cell phones back then, but we have not much a semblance of a cell phone service anyway.
Yeah, it's true. We actually still don't have cell phones here in a roundabout way. So if you want to know what happened at Loretta's today, you're going to have to watch our show and also go back and watch the previous 2 days. We talked to the Pete Fox of Fox Racing about starting this thing way back. We played some tapes of the old shows that Davey Coombs had sitting in a box for 28 years, the cassette tapes.
Yeah, they're time capsules. They are absolute time capsules. They have never even been heard. And Wes from Vurb, they're working on digitizing those things, and we'll make that all available to you once they have been vetted, because things got wild back in the days of Fox Radio, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. There was no vetting back then.
Nope.
No canceling either. No canceling today. We had tons of rain. We had one moto, and then about 4, 5, 6 hours of rain. This is what it looked like. It was good, and then it was bad very quickly. And we've both seen rain, Kevin and I, a lot, but I feel like that was one of the longest of that amount. You either get a long drizzle or a lot of rain in a short amount of time. No, this is a long period of rain.
Yeah, it was relentless. It's like Mike Brown just chasing you. He's going to just keep putting pressure on you until you finally cave, and it's going to rain. And it did rain. It rained all day, and these guys did a wonderful job turning this racetrack around. And the 65 riders, they started the day, and they finished the day. First moto after the rain, last moto of the day was all 65 riders. And man, they were little warriors.
Yeah, it was impressive. So we actually stopped racing from 8 a.m. to 4 to let the rain come through, and then it took about an hour and a half to reclaim the track.
And for those that needed to go to work, we gave you 8 hours to dip out of here, head to Nashville, get a little work in, and then come back and join us for some motos at 4 o'clock. We went hard until 7:30 tonight.
Yep, and then so all the racing was on time and a half. It was on overtime because we started past 5 Eastern.
All the flaggers got paid really well today. They're union, so you know how that goes.
What was crazy, by the end, it was muddy, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. 65 still struggled in the last moto of the day, but I feel like the rest of the motos, it was turning around to be almost a normal, difficult track.
Yeah, and speaking of the track and highlights and everything, let's just toss it right to the highlights. We'll get into this right now.
Yeah, we're going to show you how it looked today, and it starts with the first moto of the day. That got done. Jeremy Fapani took the win. And we're going to go to some motos from, this is from yesterday.
Yep.
Our show yesterday was the exclusive interview with Pete Fox. We'll show you what this looked like in much better conditions, Open Pro Sport. Daxton Bennick gets a good start, and he's able to get into the lead there on the 41.
Yeah, and Dax, this is a sea of 450s. Dax on the 250. Most of these guys, I think 7 of the top 10 were on 250, so not really an advantage, apparently, because Dax Bennett made that thing work.
There's Gavin Towers in second, Bryce Shelley also battling it out, Julian Beaumer. Everyone wants to see this Bennick versus Beaumer battle, but they keep not getting off the gate together. Beaumer was better in this one, closer, but not close enough to run with Bennick.
Yeah, Bryce Shelley had another good start, so he deserves some credit. Slipped back to 4th, but I mean, these are guys that can top 10 nationals right now, so no discredit to Bryce Shelley.
So there's Towers trying to keep Bennick honest early on the 15.
Towers has something on the line this week, Jason Weigandt. He's kind of They just had a cup of coffee with Star Racing, so they're trying to work something out. I bet it might be results-oriented.
Yep, and he's been on the podium quite a bit, but you know he wants some moto wins. Coming back from a collarbone injury. There's Shelley behind Towers. I think
There's Parker Ross, maybe on the 12.
Yep.
That's not Barsha. That's not Seth Dennis, because they're on different bikes and different classes altogether, but same numbers.
And there's Boomer eventually working his way toward a podium position after the start that he did not want, and he would start to chase after
GT, Gavin Towers.
Gavin Towers and Shelley here.
It's a deep pro class here. A lot of these kids are going to jump right into the pro ranks and do very well.
It was a really cool line. Eventually, we'd see Boomer put together this tunnel jump. See, that's the normal way of doing it. What Bennett did, we call that the tunnel of love here. But
the tunnel of lust for these kids, not quite in love just
at that
yet.
age, yeah.
There's Ross and Boomer, and dude, he does not waste time behind riders. Boomer makes passes and gets gone.
Yep, and he just did it right there to Parker Ross on that Honda, and the 29 kept going. Next, he wanted to get Towers.
AMA official not at all tickled with that. Let's see if this is a Boomer jump right here. It's a big up and over the whole tower right here. It's where he makes the pass, almost collides with Towers. Look at that, up and all the way over the braking bump.
Almost lost it that time. He said it was pretty tough to time it just right. Still putting pressure on Gavin Towers for that number 2 spot with Bennett getting away. Towers was fighting, but he admits after a couple injuries this year, he didn't want to make excuses, but I kept asking him, well, what are we dealing with here? And he doesn't quite have that fitness all the way to the end, coming back from an ACL and a collarbone. So Boomer was able to get him late, but far too late to go after Bennett. Gets the moto win. Towers for 3rd. Shelley holds on ahead of Ross. And that's your top 5 of Open Pro Sport. Again, this was yesterday.
A lot of high fives for that guy. We're going to roll right into Super Mini 2, and dude, Landon Gordon's been tough.
Yeah, and you watch them on the Kawasaki, they really stick out these days. It's a sea of Gas and Husqvarna and KTMs. You see that one Kawasaki rider able to control it early on in the number 3.
Yeah, but the number 93 of Seth Dennis, this is a pretty solid moto for that young man.
Yeah, and Dennis has been a KTM rider all the way since the 50 days, and now into what you probably consider the premier class of the minis these days in Super Mini.
See him checking over?
Gordon honest, and then Gordon goes down. He was in the lead. He'll lose 3 positions. Dennis gets by him. A couple other riders as well. I think Canyon Richards.
It might have been Timbo as well.
Timbo, yeah, on the 43. So now your leader is down to 4th place. But man, will he put in a ride to try to get all these spots back.
He's just behind the lead group there, so he got up pretty quick. Gonna have to put those pants in the wash there. They are white. That's a tricky move here at Loretta's.
Here he's battling, I think, that 93 at Dennis, leaping into Storyland. And that's 1. Now he's going after Richards. Richards rider splits his time between off-road racing with GNCC. Still obviously very good here at Loretta's. Gordon, that was a not on purpose knack in that rutted corner to try to get by Canyon Richards.
And sometimes that works. Like they barely lose any time. Gordon looks so good on the Kawasaki. Little dab there. The beach doesn't look quite like that today, though.
No, it was actually rougher yesterday, and that worked in Gordon's favor. So he leads, he tips over, he goes back to 4th, he passes everyone back, and that was a hard-earned moto win. And then the difficulty of facing me on the podium, which none of the riders actually want to do.
They don't want any of that.
Richards, it's been a really good Loretta's for him with a bunch of moto podiums.
You're not impressed with that. Look at that. What's up with your face?
I mean, you know, I've seen it all here. Cole Timbo 3rd, Dennis 4th, and we'll go to the next one, which is the first moto today.
Now you get a real
after
look.
the mud. Now, we actually did have a moto before it rained. We had 1 moto at 7:30 in the morning before it rained. Jeremy Frappani won that one. And then it rained. We had 8 hours off, and then we resumed. This is after about 6 hours of rain. I can't believe the track looked this good for the 65s.
Yeah, these guys were like doubling through the 10 commandments. I thought they would roll everything, and Carter Gray got a great start on the number 69. But Easton Graves, man, he's putting together quite the week on the 31 machine.
Yeah, Graves said he actually was hoping they could ride in the rain. That's how much he likes riding. He's from Louisiana. He says they ride in this stuff all the time. So
Trains in a swamp is what he told us.
Just literally. Yep. And then there's Graves getting the lead. Gray went down, Kevin, you saw that. He went into that sand turn, stuck the front.
Complete somersault.
Saved it, but the bike was so stuck, he could not get out. So your leader went from 1st to last, and it was Jackson Vick here. He's the only rider, Jackson Vick, to do the sight lap.
Yeah, no one wants to take that sight lap. They said you got to ride the same bike from the sight lap, so they're like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Yep, Jackson Vick did, and he's on the number 70 looking for a podium with Easton Graves long gone out front.
How about a shout out to the Canadian Medaglia? He had a nice day on the 55, right?
Yeah, Talon Medaglia, that's Tyler Medaglia's son. He would finish 2nd, had a good battle with Vic all the way through. Chase Brennan and Brayton Craiglow, your top 5, but Easton Graves said the track wasn't muddy enough. He wished he was riding in the rain. as you went on to dominate that one. All right, so those are just some highlights. So you saw the big classes from yesterday that we didn't cover yet, and you also saw how bad it was in the mud. But again, that was the very first moto back on 65s. We were worried, like, are they going to be able to do laps?
Yeah, they're going to blow bikes up and clutches and all that good stuff. No, they made it. They look great. That's why they're at Loretta's. That's why they're way better than you and I will ever be. That's why we talk about riders, and that's why we have this guy who is super fast, way faster than you are, way faster than me.
Yeah, even on 65s, there's no doubt about it. But that's kind of the theme that they've always wanted down here, to have that variety. So even when a mud moto, you can't really say, it got away from me in the mud. That's part of the game. All right, we're going to take a break here, and we'll be right back. We got a guest, Christian Craig,
that's right,
going to stop by. You said how many podcasts there are now? We got another one we can add to the list.
All of us. We all have one.
We all have podcasts. That is actually true.
There's 200 podcasters here right now doing shows.
There's only one thing I have in common with Christian Craig.
That's it.
I
Nothing
also
else.
have a podcast.
Nothing else. He's better
nothing.
looking than you. He's faster than you, stronger, more fit. We'll be right back with Christian Craig. That break went long enough, man. I was in the bathroom. I had to shoot back in here.
I know, man. I saw a pack of M&M's back there. I was about to dive into.
They're free, I know.
So we got a guest. We brought Christian Craig in, podcaster. Is that what we're known for?
That's not the title.
That's not.
No.
Christian Rogan Craig changed his name. Congratulations.
I know you're bummed. You want to be Christian Craig the racer bad.
But he's Christian Rogan.
And it's been a rough road. Got hurt way back when I was at Glendale Supercross. And
a long time ago now.
Yeah, and on the mend. Are you officially mending? Is it mending finally now?
Yeah, I only took 3 surgeries, but we're back.
Wow. You know what we had?
We're getting there.
We had you on my show, Winners Take Y'all, but we had to go blackout. You remember we had to do the FBI stuff? You were on as well. Christian probably doesn't remember. We had to do the FBI voice changer and all that.
Oh, did you use him for that?
Yeah, he was the one. When he had a little run-in with a rider.
We used, yes. You got to explain this to him. He's like, what are you talking about?
I'll catch you up later. But anyway, we had to go FBI. We had to black you out. We made it up. We had another guy voice you over. You were on my show, but you don't know it. And we went FBI like you're in the.
He's so worried about what we made him say that he didn't even have anything to do with it.
He didn't say it.
He has one of those when they have the FBI guy saying,
"This guy, I know he killed 2 men, and I want to tell everyone about it." But change your voice.
So we made up a couple fake riders and be like, yes.
I'll send you a DM and you can check it out.
Okay.
It's dumb. It's funny.
So you're on the men now, not back on a bike yet, but is it coming soon?
Hopefully by the end of the month.
Okay. End of August.
Yes.
End of August.
Yes.
Okay.
But
That's
I mean,
what month
racing this year is a long shot.
Right now. Yeah.
But never say never. You know.
So you don't even know these playoff races. That's even going to be tight.
Yeah. I mean, what is that? The beginning of September. So.
Yeah.
And I've been off the bike 16 weeks, so. It's going to take a while to get back to normal.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to rush it. I've done that too many times and ended up back in the hospital. So, take it smart. I'm older in the class now, so just be smart.
Finally.
Yeah.
You've finally gotten to the point.
You're done.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. And your team. That's the thing. They're obviously not rushing it either.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, they want me to be back healthy. Same with my teammate Malcolm.
Right.
He's coming off a big injury too. So, yeah, it's a bummer for the team because both the 450 guys are out, but we're getting closer to riding and back to normal.
Well, it's great for us whenever we have you here. All the ACL guys are hobbling around. We had Chance Hymas, we've had Malcolm, we've had you. All the guys with busted up bodies are crippled around.
It gives us more guests.
Yeah.
Gives more guests.
Absolutely.
You were talking Loretta's memories. I remember when you were here. He had a pretty sweet setup down there near the starting gate area, I think. How'd you get that parking spot?
He got here, he just left it all year long, paid the rent. Just
Did you do that?
Something like that. Yeah, I don't remember.
Smart.
Very big memories here, but not a lot of good results.
No?
No, I never really won a moto. I never podiumed a moto.
You never podiumed a moto here?
You would have bet me $100. I never would have believed that.
No.
Wow.
So I never got the
What
medal.
happened? Just crashes?
Just wasn't that good.
Just wasn't good.
Nah.
Just wasn't that good.
I feel like I was good, but when I got to big bikes is when I started going, and obviously I took a different route to the pro.
Did you not do a lot of big bike here?
I raced here 3 times total.
Oh, that's it.
Two little bikes and then one in the B class.
I see.
That makes
I
sense
see.
now.
And how did that timing work? Did you just decide to turn pro early, or did you miss a year with injury or something?
No, I went and raced X Games in 2009. X Games Supercross.
And you were how old? Like, this is immediate?
Yeah, in 2009 I was 17 or 18.
Wow.
And then I did the last 4 outdoors after that,
Yes.
which a normal guy does after Loretta's.
Yeah.
And then after that I went pro. So
What a weird ascension.
Different
That's
way.
So
Yeah.
odd. Yeah, your whole
Yeah.
deal has been odd, but it's worked,
yeah.
man.
I mean, we got a championship. I'm on a factory team.
Yeah.
Took a lot longer than most, but we're here and having fun.
do you have at least fond memories of the Loretta's experience, even without the podiums that I'm sure you wanted or the moto wins? Or is it so brief for you?
He's like, oh, this is rough.
Or if you had the bad results, is it impossible?
Yeah, I mean, on my super mini days, I broke my femur in the 10 Commandments.
Oh, bad memories.
Got life flighted out in the front.
Oh, God.
And then I came here back in the B class, crashed in the first turn, and just like all around up and down memories.
But you know what? It had to be cool, like even after those bad motos, those fun little drives back home with your dad. Just,
I'm sure.
On the way home
short little drive, 30, 40 hours back
I'm
home
sure he
now.
was stoked.
Yeah, right?
I don't remember those, so maybe that's
Yeah,
probably.
because you went in a
probably-
helicopter and you're like, out of your mind with painkillers on the leg part.
Yeah,
Gosh.
so I mean, well, we're having fun now. I mean, I get to come back every now and then and
Yeah.
check out the amateur scene.
What's crazy to me, and you probably still think it's crazy, so you have these memories, which are not really that good, to be honest. And then somehow, now you got your son. You even tried to qualify this year, didn't
boy.
he?
Kind of area, and then we realized he's got a lot of work. So
Yes.
we didn't even attempt the regional.
Yeah.
But we're already looking forward to next year.
So that's what I'm saying. You're still looking forward to it. You're not like dirt
Yeah.
bikes don't exist. They don't.
No.
They're not even an option.
Can you honestly, like my kids played baseball, and I was like, that's cool. I'm good with that because,
This is hard.
It's a tough road.
This is very hard,
But
yes.
if they keep coming back to it, you're like, okay, we have to embrace this. They keep coming back to it.
Yeah, we have him sign up for every sport. And
Yeah.
He ends up
Everything.
watching Moto on YouTube. So
Right.
I
Oh,
think
boy.
that he knows what Dad does, and if he wants to ride, we're here for it.
One of the best stories was, but you have a very busy job, and you're not always. I think probably people think, well, Christian can just take him to the track anytime he wants. You're busy, so your wife Paige has had to become quite the moto mom here, right?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
When I get home from training, like the last thing I want to do is take him to another track.
Yes,
So
yes.
it is tougher. Like the way we train, we get back late and we need to rest for the next day. So
Yeah.
Paige would load up the van and take him riding. So
Has she called Jenny and let Jenny, girl, how did you do this? Like, what is up?
no, I mean she loves it, man. It's
Yeah.
it's cool to see, and the kid likes it. And when he wants to ride, we'll go. But if he's not into it, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's funny. So
She
there
do
are times
filters?
where you've waved them off. Oh, it does not do filters.
No filters.
They got the bag filter. It's a different world. They live in.
She
They
just learned how
probably,
to start the bike. So
That was the thing at Minios, right?
Yeah.
Had to start the bike for the first time?
Yeah.
Oh, great. But there are times you're literally waving them away. You're like, I got to sit on the couch.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
I'm like,
Have
you
fun."
got this. The gas is full. Literally, you get geared up. You're ready to
so
go.
do you do what you can and send them off as
Yes.
prepared as you can?
Bike is prepped. Gear's ready.
Yeah.
Literally, just go start the bike and ride.
I'm sure the real goal here is to just have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
There's no other expectation beyond that.
No, it's contingency, baby. It's
Oh,
contingency.
is it
to
contingency?
fund this racing.
We took it serious till we went to Mini O's last year, and
Yeah.
there was kids younger than him jumping over his head, and I'm like, okay, we need to take a step back, maybe just practice for a while, and then try this again maybe in a couple years.
We all lose sight real quick because this is like an automatic reflex of like, oh, you ride a dirt bike, so there's Minios and there's Lorettas and all that, and you forget there's all
There's
these
so many
layers in
steps.
between. And if you played any other sport, like you wouldn't
Rec
be
ball,
Yes.
double A baseball, triple.
The literal, I don't even know how you would get to an event, pick a sport, basketball, where there's only the 40 best 8-year-old basketball players.
I don't think it exists.
I don't know if that event
You have
exists.
to qualify for it and all this
You'd
stuff.
think of how gnarly that would be if that existed, but that's what we were just taking for granted out here.
Yeah.
It's the 40 best at your age in the country, and our last moto today, 7 and 9, that'd be a class your son was in? 7 and 9?
Oh, yeah, now.
Yeah,
Yes.
was won by a kid from New Zealand. So it's not even the best in the country
from the
anymore.
world. They're coming from everywhere.
Yeah, so you think about how gnarly that actually is. We just take it for granted because we come here every year. It's actually pretty wild when you put it in that
Oh,
perspective.
for sure. And this is obviously the pinnacle, and there's
Yeah.
so much pressure on these kids. It's wild.
Yes.
And the thing I like to say is look at my career. Like I didn't win here,
Yep.
but I have a championship in 250
Yeah.
West. So
Yeah.
it can happen. Like you can have a crappy week here, but you can still make it. So.
Chance Hyman said the same thing today.
Yeah.
Although
he only has
he's
one, he has one title.
The 2000
That's-
250C.
There was a typo there. Yes.
Typo.
Yes.
He was negative 5 years old when he goes, oh, wow, I'm the champ. I didn't know that.
I actually feel that when you look at it, I tell a story all the time. We had Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart basically win every class here and then go right in the pros and win every class there and then set all these records, and that started to look like, well, that's the way it's
That's the pattern.
supposed to
If you
work.
win here, you'll win everywhere.
But really, they're the only two that just won and really never
Yep.
stopped winning.
RV got one. Dungy got one.
There's
MC got
tons
one.
of guys like you, and it happens all the time. That's sort of like, if you look at Justin Cooper or Levi Kitchen, even like pretty recently, Lawrence brothers weren't on anyone's radar. They weren't even here. That happens quite a bit, I feel like, where sometimes even the bumps in the road maybe make you better down the road.
For sure. And like, yeah, this race didn't go well, but I also had like Minios went well for me. There were some flashes of speed that teams saw, and then I got a ride.
Right.
You know, it wasn't all like I have to do it here at Loretta.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so obviously I wanted to do it here, and this is to hold #1 plate up here is huge, but you know, there is ways to get to pros also.
So let's talk about this other stuff you got going. You've always been pretty good with the vlogs and things like that and social media. So now you decided to do a podcast. Tell me what brought this around and what made you decide to do something pretty different for a rider.
This elbow, probably.
That was it.
Taking 3
Spare
surgeries.
time?
Yes. So a lot of sitting on the couch and being in a cast, not being able to do much, driving my wife crazy.
You need a hobby, honey. Let's just do something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we tried to do that. Obviously, had a couple guests on. I've been more focused on my elbow lately and need to get back to real work.
Yes.
You know? So we're kind of shifting back into going riding, but it is a little fun side hobby, and props to you guys for doing this week in and week out, because it is a lot of work.
Yeah, but we don't do any other work, so makes it easier on us. But yeah, I guess that's always saying it's harder than it seems.
Yeah.
Right. And
It's fun though.
how hard is it to find guests and find your time and their time together?
It is. It is.
Yes.
The
Nice.
one guy was Deegan, and
Yep.
he was there when I asked. The rest, a couple guys ghosted me. And,
What?
that's fine. I won't name the names, but we know who you are. And nah, it's fine. I understand
Yeah.
people are busy. Riders are busy, and it is hard to get guys on though. So
Are you going to do more, you think, or when you're back to racing, is it going to be hard to do both?
yeah, I mean, it
about
would be
a
fun to do like a Sunday check-in every week, like
Yeah.
recap my weekend, my race night, and
Yep.
then maybe get guests on here and there. So
Okay.
we'll see.
So the dream is still alive.
Yeah, we got the equipment, we got the camera set up in my office, and if it comes alive, it comes alive.
Cool. All right. Well, awesome, Christian Craig. I mean, it's kind of bad news. I thought maybe we'd see you on the track pretty soon. Maybe not.
A couple more weeks.
Yeah, but you're making the most of it. And I guess all this experience, even the stuff from here, you can probably take this in stride a little better than you would have. I'm sure it's eating you up,
Yeah.
but it probably would have been worse.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been hurt a lot of times, and so I kind of know. Like, I broke my back in 2009 and had to take a year off. So
Yeah.
it could be a lot worse than it is now. But
Right.
this has just been super frustrating. You know, I get to a point where I'm moving it, and then I'm having to go back in the surgery room. So
Yeah.
that's the thing that's getting really frustrating and being hard to deal with. But it's part of the job.
That's
You
right.
Got to deal with it and move on.
And you got a 2-year deal, so you'll be back next year.
Yeah,
Yep.
we got to make it happen though. You got to put in the results and keep it going. I'm having fun, and I don't see it anytime soon. So
Cool.
have some fun.
All right. Christian Craig stopping by, Radio Fox. We're going to take another commercial break. Good luck. We'll see you on a bike at some point.
Soon.
Yes. Good.
Thanks.
So good.
What is the vurbmoto Shred Tour?
That was rad.
Only the greatest time of your effing life. Imagine a 24/7 summer camp with dirt bikes.
That's what it's all about.
Who else can claim they've jumped off the world's largest rocking chair? No one. It's a Guinness World Record. Who else combines live wrestling and dirt bikes? No one. Activities for all ages, including Stasic and Granger E2 demos, and bikes e-moto racing, fist gloves, free hot dogs, bands, and yeah, actual real racing. Oh, and a free $20 to motorsport.com. Everyone who comes through the gate. Yes, everyone. Join us for the vurbmoto Shredheads at Fox Raceway, October 28th and 29th in Hala, California. Visit vurbmoto.com for more details.
Back here on Radio Fox. Well, thanks to Christian Craig for stopping by.
Yeah, man.
We will also be talking to Kyleigh Stallings, who's got 1-1 finishes in the WMX division, whether it's dry or muddy. She's been able to conquer that class so far. We'll talk to her in a little bit, but we're going to give you more highlights from the drying out stages of racing today at the Monster Energy AMA Amateur National Championship at Loretta's. Let's get to it. And 250B, which is kind of becoming the most coveted class to win at Loretta's these days. We'll be the first one. It's Casey Bernard who got the good jump and gets out to the early lead. Couple riders down there.
I would say a few. Then Christian Janik shows up. Hayes Edwards, Drew Adams, Logan Best, Jordan Renfro, and Casey Cochran all in tow on this first lap.
Yeah.
Cochran then would disappear.
Yeah, well, here's the problem. So Cochran is the rider to beat coming into this one after great first motos, but he would have a serious issue in this moto.
Hey, dude, that's a good line right there. That's what I would do. Stay out of the jumps, man.
Just mud bogging it, baby.
That's good fun right there.
So Bernard leading early on, and you're going to watch for a couple of Kawasaki's. They got a stacked deck in this one, including the 27 of Christian Janik here.
And Christian Janik looks good this week. Finally off to a good start. Dan Truman calling out Drew Adams, saying, have you seen this guy? Put him on a milk carton. And Drew Adams says, I showed up, man.
Yeah, so Adams on the podium in the first moto, but you know he wants to run with Cochran, who had won that first one. But here's what happens. Cochran ends up going down and dislocates his shoulder. So he was building a dream week in the B class. Now, I did just talk to Daniel Blair of his team, and he says, yes, shoulder, but should be good to go for the rest of the week. So he's going to try to bounce back and race on Friday and Saturday. But Cochran, at least for this title, DNF this moto with the shoulder. He's done. So that's going to help Janik and the 30 of Drew Adams. They move up in this moto, and they also move up in their title chances.
Yeah, you can, like, it's blood in the water now. Once they know one guy's out, they all have a shot. And, I mean, Cochran's a soldier. His parents are soldiers, literally.
Literally,
so
yep.
Why wouldn't he soldier on?
Might be back. So Adams now, the number 30, is going to control the points because he's sitting on 2-2 scores after the first two motos. His teammate Janik, great job in the mud, getting away, and it ends up being Cowie's 1-2.
Hey, and credit to the 15-year-old Drew Adams. He's the baby. He's like a sophomore in high school with, playing up in varsity right now.
Yep, and then you see Logan Best coming by in the Yamaha. He would finish up in third. Bernard, who had that good start, and Jordan Renfro. That rounds out the top five. Janik taking the gold, and Adams out front in the 250B division after the first two motos are calculated together. We go to 85 Mini Senior, Vincent Way. You know what you got to do. You got to get a start in the mud. You got to get a start in the mud. He's got the start in the mud. We're looking good. We're looking good.
Oh,
and Vincent Way from first to last off the start, and it took forever for him to get up. I think he was hurting, and by the time he gets up, he's probably 30 seconds behind everyone else on the track.
He has a lot of work to do, and so do these guys here. It was still muddy. Wasn't quite where it was where we finished up, but
no. It's Dakota Baker who ends up taking the lead after Way. Way got credited for the whole shot, and from there, Dakota Baker in the lead. But he had a tough first moto. Carson Wood here on the 26, starting to make his way forward as well. Goes from second to third, trying to catch Baker, still a ways back. And then we had a pretty thick pack behind him. You had Austin Camden, Colby Lessar, and Cole Blecka on that number 51. They're all battling it out here. There's Lessar in the 11.
And I don't know what Ryan Holiday did to that Kawasaki to make mud not stick to it, but it's amazing. That is the greenest, prettiest bike. It never got dirty.
Yeah, look at the side plates on that bike. I don't know what they put on there as the battle between Wood and Lessar continues. Wood, I believe, he's a Californian, I think.
Zephyr Hills, Florida, I believe.
Florida. Yeah, the mud just not quite what he wanted in this one. It was Baker just really rolling. So he had that early lead. It just shows what you can do when you get a start in the mud race. Wood would hold on for a big battle there. You know he would have liked to have won that one, but that's still solid on the podium. Camden, Lessar, and Blecka round out the top five. That's Super Mini 2, and you could see track pretty treacherous at that point. A lot of riders will say they'd rather ride in the rain than when it starts drying out and getting sticky. So we'll get a report on the racetrack.
Somebody that actually rode.
Yeah.
Her hair looks better than yours. She was just adjusting it before we came in the camera.
Yeah, I was saying 1-1 in the women's class so far. Obviously, that's great, but take me through going into that mud moto.
Hey, first
today.
things first, thank you for skipping prom to hang out with us.
I know, right?
Is that true?
It kind of is true.
You had
but
plans.
I think it's worth it.
Did you have a date?
Did you have a date? What?
No.
I mean, you're sitting on gold medals. Come on, people.
2 golds, she's blinging out.
What is wrong with these guys?
The hair's done, the makeup's done, so if something changes in the next few minutes, we'll let you go if you need to go catch a prom date.
Did you have a prom dress?
Nope, wasn't gonna go in this.
Was gonna go in your Fox stuff. Hey, that's motocross
Casual.
style.
There you go.
So Kyleigh Stallings 1-1. Just what were the conditions by the time you got on the track? I think I asked you this on the podium, but was it like sometimes when the track dries out, it actually gets worse for a while? What was it like when you were out there in WMX?
So I honestly thought, like, looking at it, it would be a lot worse.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, like, I got out there. The start was a little slick, but once you got past that, like, slick spot on the backside, it got a lot better.
Were there any jumps that you were jumping earlier that you couldn't jump today? See, she's thinking about it.
I know the 10 Commandments were really slick, and they were tricky, and if you did spin and catch something, then it wouldn't be good, but I think I actually did spin off the triple one time after the finish, and I was kind of cautious, and I had like a 15-second lead on the second lap,
Look at
so
us.
I knew.
We're watching you, man. Look at you.
Oh, it's good stuff right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was slick,
You had
but
a 15-second lead that early.
yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you saw that on the pit board, and then did that change the way you approached the rest of the race?
So Mike Faulkner is actually who's been taking me to the gate. Faulkner's
Oh,
dad.
it's one of our faves.
Biggest smile in the
Yeah,
business.
Yeah.
So he kept saying on the pit board, like, this is your race, just do your laps, like, and I knew like how far I was ahead, so I just put in those laps and just stayed smooth, really.
So the track, did you do the sight lap?
I did, yeah, I did.
Okay,
Did all of you do it? Some of you?
I think everybody did.
Okay.
Oh, by then, it was funny to watch the evolution. We had one rider do the sight lap the first race after
The
the
vets,
rain.
about 10 of them did, and no one, 30 of
Yeah,
them sat.
and then it was like half the riders, and then you're saying by your class, almost everybody, or
Yeah,
nearly
I think
everybody.
so.
So you kind of knew what you were dealing with by the time the gate dropped?
I did, yeah. There
Yeah.
were just a couple spots that I
Yep.
was kind of new to be cautious in,
Yeah.
kind of, but no, it wasn't that bad.
Mud, do you normally think of that as a strength or not?
I wouldn't say strength, but I
Okay.
wouldn't say like something I struggle in.
Yeah.
So I actually train at Rainer Training Complex down in
Yep.
Oklahoma. So we get rain quite a bit, and we've been practicing in it for a while now.
Okay.
So I knew I wouldn't struggle, and I'd be just fine if I just went out there and did what I do.
Does Robbie still hop on a bike every once in a while?
He does sometimes.
I wanna
tennis
see it, man.
Sometimes,
no
yeah.
must
shirt,
still
tennis
rip.
shoes.
Like occasionally, every couple years maybe, but
Oh, that's it. It's
Yeah.
not consistent at all.
I mean, sometimes, but
Okay.
he'll
Look, there's
just kind
Mike. That was Fortner's arm
Yeah,
right there.
there
I
was
guarantee it was
Faulkner's.
that crazy
Yeah,
arm right there. I can
yeah.
tell.
Does he still rip? I mean, he's when it comes to style and speed, he's one of the all-timers.
He
Does
does.
he still go pretty good?
He does, but he's gonna be mad at me for saying this. He can only do it for about 2 laps, and he's done.
Has
It
he,
doesn't matter. That's
But
fine.
he can still rip, yeah.
That's all that matters at that
Exactly.
age.
has he ever asked to borrow your shoulder just for like a weekend, just to go
No,
racing?
but I'm sure he would if he could.
If
Right.
he could, yeah.
Can I borrow yours? Is really young and good.
Is there some crazy sand track or something there?
There is.
I've heard
yeah.
about this.
So when
Yeah.
when it's too muddy to ride at Rainer's, we'll
Yeah.
go down to the sand track like 30 minutes away, and it
Yeah.
gets gnarly.
That's what I've
No,
heard.
it's really good.
So
yeah.
these sand sections, no problem for you.
I
Just say it.
struggled in it a little bit, but
Okay.
I think that sand track did definitely help me
There you go.
for that sand. Yeah.
Man, in the summertime though, that's got to be brutal.
No, it's so hot. Like
Yeah, yeah.
we'll go out there and do 2 30-minute motos, maybe even 3 if Rob's feeling crazy. But
3.
He's sitting on the outside.
And where's
It's easy.
Mike Fortner
Just
this
do it.
time? Just in the shade, drinking sweet tea or something, laughing?
he, probably.
What?
You can hear Mike from like
miles away.
across the track.
Yep.
You know when Mike's there.
How did this come about? So that's Austin Fortner's dad, Mike. How did it come about that he's working the pit board and mechanicking for you?
So he's actually not mechanicking for me this year, just
Okay.
taking me to the gate and
Okay.
doing my pit board. But he did start mechanicking for me when I got on Super Minis. So
Okay.
he mechanicked for me for about 3 years, and then he stopped mechanicking for me, and now we're like, hey, like, you wanna bring me to the gate?
Nice.
He's the perfect guy to mechanic for you on a Super Mini because he's the
Yeah.
size of a Super Mini rider.
Exactly.
So he would be able to set the bike up
Exactly.
perfectly.
And he's always like super competitive, like, oh, I would have hit that, like, you know,
Oh,
I
here
would
we
have
go.
hit that.
Mike,
He's like,
come
why aren't you hitting the
on.
triple? Like, I would have hit that. And I'm like,
There we go.
Of
course, Mike
At least
Fortner.
Raynard hops on the bike every once in a
Yeah,
while.
Mike just
and
talks
does it.
about what he would do.
Yes. Okay, last thing. So 1-1. How do you just chill here before your third moto and try not to, think about the pressure too much?
yeah, so I haven't really looked at it very much, but I think I'm in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
It's pretty mixed up, and I think
Yeah.
the mud definitely did help me a little bit because of how mixed up it is now. So probably just chill and just do the same thing I've been doing.
More stressful, the third moto or finding a prom date? It's okay.
Well, if she's holding the number 1 at the end, we know.
She's getting a prom date.
Yeah,
You know what?
yeah.
You-
You guys, this is the stock you want to buy right now.
yeah, get in.
Yeah,
ground floor.
yeah. Because once she's champion, it's going to be a lot
As long
harder.
as it's not Mike Fortner. If he throws his arm out and takes you down, not happening. Not happening.
All right, somebody take her to prom tonight.
No.
Somebody take her to prom
She's
tonight.
content. She needs to go to bed early.
Yeah,
She's got a big day
bedtime.
tomorrow.
It's way
so.
past my bedtime.
Hey, I want
Time for bed.
to hear what Ricky Carmichael says about Loretta Lynn's his favorite memory from the ranch, and let's throw it right to it.
All right, thanks, Kyleigh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most memorable battle at Loretta's would for sure be, I believe it was
There you go.
1990 when I won my first championship at Loretta's. I think it came down to the last race where I had to beat Brock Sellards, and the track was a lot tighter back then. And he came into this left-hander and just completely tried to annihilate me and T-boned me. He ended up going down, but he was right on me the whole time. And, you know, I think anytime that you're able to do something for the first time is the most special, for sure. So definitely that's my most memorable race or battle at Loretta Lynn's. And man, was it a good one. It was a long time ago. I'm dating myself. But like I said, anytime you do anything for the first time, it definitely it is something that you always take with you for the rest of your life.
All right, that was cool to have Ricky Carmichael there, who has basically been a part of the Fox family since his days here and all the way through. I have a feeling we'll probably get him back out here at the ranch. Not necessarily racing. He did that once. Were you shocked? Did you hear what year it was that he came back? I remember when he came back and raced 25 plus. I thought it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, what was it, 12?
12.
Yeah, him and Raynard.
2012.
If you guys don't remember, out of nowhere, Ricky decides he wants to do Loretta's, and he happens to square up with Robbie Raynard. Raynard was on a 125, though. Is that correct?
At one point he was, but I don't know if he was that year.
Well, for about 2 laps, this was the most. I'll put that moto against any moto I've ever seen. The electricity and the people on the fence line.
Yeah.
That was epic. It was a great race.
Yeah, and it had a little context to it, right? Because, okay, obviously Carmichael's the GOAT and he won more races than anyone, but every once in a while, we're talking 3 or 4 races that everyone remembers.
And they all agree, this man, Raynard,
had the speed to do it, and then that was like a throwback. Like, not only did Carmichael get passed, but it reminded everyone of these great battles they'd had. And I remember that. Now it's 11 years ago. I remember talking to some kids saying, I never got to watch Carmichael race. And I'm like, we're already that old. And now that was 11 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I need readers to go through these highlights. So, yeah, we're that old, man.
We're raging ourselves, yeah.
We're so old.
I'm sure we'll get him back here at the ranch. Not necessarily to race, but to
He's
hang out with us.
somewhere on the dual sport ride, like out in the middle of Mid-America right now.
They always do. They used to leave from here.
Ricky's,
and do these crazy rides on the Triumphs. Yeah, absolutely. And that'll be cool, by the way. You noticed some Triumph people been hanging out here this week.
Yeah, there's something going on with this motorcycle. They released a fork tube this week.
Yes, there's only a few parts. They've said that they're going to race MXGP and Supercross Motocross. They haven't said anything about amateurs yet, but they've been hanging out here all week. Yes. Force. So I think you're going to see something on that side as time goes.
Beta's in the house too, right? They got a team
they're making moves.
Together. I love it.
Okay, so that's going to do it for Radio Fox here on a Thursday. We give you the full Loretta's menu.
Go check out all the other ones if you want to know how this all started. The first episode's pretty historical. We kind of go into why this is even a thing. We call Pete Fox, and he articulated what Loretta's is as good as anyone I've ever heard.
Yeah, exactly. This is a guy who's been there, done it, and this place means more to him than pretty much any other. And then, of course, you'll see highlights of the other nights. It's cool to get the mud race in, because that's Loretta's tradition for sure. Hopefully we have better weather tomorrow. All right, thanks for watching Radio Fox.